Whenever you hear the name United Arab Emirates, the first city that comes to mind is its glamorous tourist destination, Dubai. But today I'm going to show you a glimpse of a lesser known city called Al Quwain. It was a city built in 1775 and is located in the northeast of the country. We are going to visit a historic fort named Fort Al Ali, which was built in the year 1768. But in the year 2000, it was turned into a museum. So let's drive on to visit Fort Al Ali. United Arab Emirates is a federation consisting of 7 emirates that were merged in 1971 to form the current state. In terms of area, Al Quwain is the second smallest emirate in the UAE. And in terms of population, with its 72,000 inhabitants, Al Quwain is the smallest in the federation. We are still outside the fort. Here is a look for you. Let's move towards the entrance of the fort, which is now called Al Quwain Museum. I needed to buy a ticket at the entrance, which was 5 dirhams, just about $1.5 US. Wow, it's a different feeling when you enter this place, feeling of nostalgia. And we will go through and visit the different rooms and the chambers in this fort. I am now in the collector's chamber, and here some rare items have been displayed by the tourism department for the interest of the tourists. Let's have a look. So, a small replica of the fort. One of the most interesting items here is the collection of old gold jewelry, which was apparently donated to this museum by the ruler's wife. These are some of the items of jewelry. Some more items. One of the most prized items of this chamber are these 2 gold swords. You can see the beauty of how they are made. And now I will take you to one of the most interesting places in this museum, which is the marketplace. It will give you an idea of how the markets used to be in those times. They have made the marketplace just like it used to be in the olden times. Here is a seller. He is actually selling herbs and spices. We move on to the next shop, which is a clothes shop. And here you see a guy cutting out some cloth and a variety of clothes behind him. Next to the clothes shop is a small restaurant where you see a man cooking and the utensils behind. It's all made very nicely. Next to the restaurant is a general grocery store. You see he's selling rice, salt, and different kinds of items for the kitchen and daily use. And the coffee shop. I must say that the tourism department of Al Quwain has done a great job of maintaining this place in its original form and adding a lot of these attractions to it to make it very attractive for tourists. Let me show you some ancient items placed in small windows inside the marketplace. The first window shows an old copy of the holy book Quran, another old version of the telephone, probably from the 19th century, and another phone which many of us might remember. It says here, phone model 300 was invented in 1937. One of my favorite items, the typewriter. And here is a version of an old video camera. I am now in the Fisherman's chamber. It's a very small room, so we'll have a quick look at it. This area is made up of fishing nets, and it shows a fisherman sitting with his catch. The original inhabitants of Al Quwain depended on fishing for their livelihood, but they were also experts in deep sea diving for pearls. Now here is something very interesting. These are strainers that they used to use for straining pearls. And this is one of the old compasses used in high seas. This bell-like item, it says it's a stone tied to the diver's foot to descend towards the bottom of the sea. That's for the deep sea divers. On the way we go past a children's play area. I suppose this is the area that was designated for the children to play outside. And now we have come up one level next to the tower fort, and this is where the ruler's room, the Sheikh's room, was located. We'll have a look. The ruler's room. It's a huge hall. And the bed of the ruler. We can see some interesting items and furniture in this room which belonged to the ruler of the time. This is a picture of Sheikh Ahmed bin Rashid bin Ahmed Al Mualla, who was born in 1908, and he had the longest reign in power, ruling over Al Quwain for 52 years. Let me tell you a brief, interesting story associated with this chamber. It is said that in 1929, the 8th ruler of Al Quwain, Sheikh Ahmed Al Mualla, was taking his supper here, and he was visited by 2 of his guards, who were also his cousins. Suddenly, one of his guards, named Saeed, took out his gun and shot the ruler dead. Both the guards held the body of the ruler on top of the fort tower and announced to the people that their ruler was dead. Apparently, the whole population of Al Quwain was furious, and they attacked the fort. The 2 guards who were hiding inside the fort could not find an escape. The people gathered around and dug a trench around the fort. They put palm leaves into the trenches and put up a huge fire. It is narrated that the 2 guards were burned to death in that fire. And now another very interesting place of the fort. We'll visit the kitchen. Inside the kitchen, they have still maintained a lot of the old utensils and the cookers that were used during those times. Very interesting. In one corner of the garden, they have built this old type village house just to show the heritage of how the houses used to be. The last room in the corner of the fort is right behind me. This is the prison where all the criminals of that time were locked up. It has a scary look as you enter the prison. It's just an empty room. Nothing inside except for this hole. And apparently the prisoners of that time were pushed into this hole and locked inside. They have put up a figure of a man inside the hole just to show how the prisoners were confined into that small place. Before I end this tour, I leave you with a few shots of this beautiful historic place that I had the pleasure of visiting today. I hope you enjoyed the visit to this historic fort, which was arranged exclusively for TBC INTV.